Everything we perceive originates within. The world of form, in every single instance, is a mirror of awareness. What seems solid and concrete is simply how the inner state appears to us. What if the deepest untruth you hold is that the world around you exists independently? Imagine for a moment that nothing is as solid as it seems. The universe, in its true nature, is a field of pure awareness. Physicality is what this boundless field looks like when we observe it, when we give it form within our perception. This is how the material universe comes into being. What if the foundation of your entire life is an elegant illusion, one that gently prevents you from seeing the true nature of things? There is only this awareness. What we call matter is an impression within it. When you hold a glass and sense its form and presence, these are qualities arising in your consciousness. Form and weight are qualities of your inner experience. The tangible world is just a name for a certain kind of perception. The things you see, hear, touch, smell, and taste. This is a profound insight, one that emerges from a space of deep contemplation. And if this insight holds true, then everything, from your thoughts to your home to your very sense of identity, is not what it appears to be. We grow up taught to see a world of two separate things, an outer world and our inner thoughts. A cup is out there. The feeling of thirst is in here. This is the root of a view that sees reality as purely material, where mind is just a fleeting byproduct, like mist rising from water. But ancient wisdom suggests a profound turning point in our understanding. Through this lens, the mind is not born from matter. The mind is the vast space in which everything, including matter, arises. The variety of forms in the world is a reflection of the variety of inner states and movements of awareness. So your brain is the appearance of your inner life. The vast, silent universe is the appearance of the inner life of universal awareness itself. The world of form is always what awareness looks like. This timeless perspective has been shared through contemplative traditions. It suggests that awareness isn't a creation of the brain. It is the one fundamental reality from which all else springs. Everything you call real, from a stone to a pattern of logic to a wave of emotion, is a movement within awareness, not separate from it. Think about your daily journey. When you touch cool water, you aren't truly touching separate molecules. You are experiencing coolness, wetness, movement. All of these are sensations processed within your awareness. When you see the color of the sky, you are not witnessing a property of the atmosphere itself. You are having a visual experience of that color inside you. At no point have you ever made direct contact with an outside world. You have only ever known the world through experience, and all experience arises from within. So behind this tangible world of forms, we understand that beneath its solid appearance lies pure inner life. Your sorrows, your aspirations, your regrets, the sensation of hunger, the redness of a fruit, the taste of its sweetness. All of these appear to others as your physical being. You look around and believe you are observing reality as it is. Light strikes objects, enters your eyes, and the world appears. But this is a simplified telling of what occurs. What your perception provides is not raw truth. It is a translation. Consider how a deep pond reflects the sky. You are not looking at the sky itself, but at its image upon the water. The reflection gives you useful information. You can see the clouds, the light, the color. Without the sky, there would be no reflection. But the sky is always there. This reflection is our material reality. When no one is observing, there is no one to perceive a reflection. You need the stillness of the water to see the sky's image. But that which is being reflected, the vast, open sky, is ever present, whether it is mirrored or not. This is precisely what matter is, a reflection. The reflection is useful. It is a clear enough guide to navigate your path. But it is not the sky. It is a representation. This is more than just a philosophical idea. It resonates with insights from the study of human perception. Ancient traditions have long taught that our senses are not designed to show us ultimate reality. They are refined to show us what we need to navigate this life. If we perceived reality unfiltered, it would be formless, overwhelming. So we have come to see a simplified interface, a version of reality that is meaningful for our journey. We see the reflection, not the source. And this leads to a profound question. If the reflection only appears when there is someone to observe it, what is happening when no one is looking? All that is manifest in your body and beyond is the outer appearance of an inner state. There is a seemingly silent world of form out there. If we follow the insight that form is the external appearance of inner states, then the silent universe must also be the outer face of a vast inner life. These boundless inner states that form the universe are what we could call the mind of nature, the source of all. Your brain is simply what your own stream of awareness looks like when viewed from the outside. So it is not quite that your inner life creates your brain. It is not an act of building something. It is a spontaneous unfolding. Your brain is what your mental journey looks like. It is the appearance of it. It is like asking if a fire creates a flame. The flame is what the fire looks like. So when you hold a stone, you are not simply touching an inert object. You are connecting with a stable pattern of universal awareness rendered into a form you can perceive. It is not the thing itself. It is your interface to it. Your senses are not measuring objects. They are decoding meaning. And what we call the physical world is more like a shared dream. It is consistent, yes, but it is built entirely within experience. This is where everything transforms. From this perspective, you are not a small, separate being moving through a vast world. You are the world, experiencing itself from a particular point of view. The insight is startling yet simple. There is only one vast field of awareness, endlessly rich, ceaselessly creating new patterns. All that we call individuals, people, animals, even the trees, are distinct ripples within that single ocean. In other words, the great awareness is holding a conversation with itself through you, through me, through everything. This may sound abstract, but it reflects what contemplative practices reveal about the mind. From a place of deep inner looking, one can see how a single awareness can contain many currents of thought and feeling. Each can have its own distinct character, its own flow, yet all are held within the same space. Now, apply this understanding to the whole world. What appears as the space between you and a stranger, or between a person and a tree, is an illusion born from these temporary boundaries. Pay close attention to how this unfolding happens. An appearance arises when there is a boundary, a division between the observer and the observed. If there is no distinction, there is nothing to be seen, because an appearance is what something looks like from a different perspective. To have another perspective, there must be a dividing line, so an observer can look from one side at what exists on the other. How does this appearance come to be when a boundary arises? When one aspect of awareness is on one side of this boundary and another aspect of awareness is on the other. Now one can observe the other. The perspective is created by that boundary. This boundary is the sense of a separate self. We feel alone not because we are separate, but because the universal mind has poured itself into countless unique forms, each temporarily forgetful of the whole. You are not inside reality looking at it. You are a fold within it, observing itself. And when that sense of separation thins, through meditation, great challenge, profound insight, or the final transition of death, the illusion fades. The ripple remembers it is the ocean. The mask of separation falls away. If everything that exists is awareness, and all forms are just movements within this one field, then what name can you give this field? Some ancient traditions, without hesitation, call it the source of all being. It is all-knowing, all-present, and all-powerful in its potential. It is the only thing that truly exists, and it is you, it is me, it is the animal, the smallest cell, the moons, the stars, the entire tapestry of existence. So does this divine ground exist? Of course, we are it. But it is not the version we might imagine, a separate entity with human desires and judgments. This is something deeper, more ancient, and far more intimate. In this understanding, the source is not a being, it is being itself. The sacred is not somewhere else, it is not above or behind you. It is right here, right now, expressing itself as everything you perceive, including yourself. That tree pushing through the pavement. That is awareness unfolding into form. The sorrow you felt when you lost someone. That is awareness folding in upon itself to feel deeply. And your intuition, that quiet knowing you cannot explain. That may be the universe guiding itself through your attention. There is nothing else. Everything can be understood as expressions of this one awareness, its patterns and its movements. You can see the entire wonder of nature as a manifestation of this universal consciousness. Therefore, universal consciousness is all you need to know. It is all there is. It is all present by its very nature. If it is all there is, it is everywhere. It is a field of knowing. So everything that happens within it. It knows all that unfolds. It may be partitioned, so what it knows through my life is not accessible to what it knows through yours. But you and I are both expressions of it. For many, this is where the path feels uncertain. But through this lens, what we label as extraordinary is not an exception to the rules. It is woven into them. If all beings of awareness are just unique expressions of one universal source, then the boundary between us is not a solid wall. It is a delicate membrane. And like any membrane, it can be permeable. Modern views struggle to explain moments of deep connection, like feeling a loved one struggle from afar, or sensing something just before it happens. From a purely material view, these are dismissed as chance or memory tricks. But from this perspective, they are precisely what you would expect to happen from time to time. A sense of deep connection can arise because the illusion of separation, like any natural process, is not perfect. We have learned to feel separate, to believe we are only this body and not what is happening beyond it. So from a place of deep awareness, it is understandable that in moments of powerful emotion, you could feel a direct connection between people who are already bound by love or hardship. It happens more often than we think. We just learn not to recognize it. These are not violations of natural law. They are hairline cracks in the illusion of being separate. Awareness does not end at your skin. And when emotions intensify, sorrow, fear, love, those boundaries can become thin. One ripple begins to feel the motion of another. We treat time as if it is a relentless river, flowing forward on its own. But what if that is not what time truly is? Space and time exist only within us. We create them as a way to order the flow of information about the world. Even our current understanding of physics begins to see time not as fundamental, but as an emerging quality of something deeper. This wisdom suggests that time does not flow out there. It unfolds within our awareness. Time is not a feature of the universe. It is a structural tool of consciousness, a way to arrange experience into a story that makes sense. This is not just a theory. Deep self-observation reveals that our inner state does not measure time like a clock. Instead, it constructs the feeling of time from internal markers, memory, perception, and emotional shifts. When your inner world is still, time seems to stretch. When your mind is full, it seems to rush by. That is the formatting of your awareness. In other words, time is a way of telling a story, something awareness uses to place events in sequence. If that holds true, then your birth was not the beginning of your awareness, and your death will not be its end. It is a transition, like closing one chapter of a story that is always being written. So take a quiet moment and consider this. If all is awareness, and your own mind is a ripple on that vast sea, what does this mean for your power to choose? Do you truly have free will, or are you just following a path laid out long ago? The answer is both challenging and liberating. You do make choices, but perhaps not in the way you imagine. Many people think of free will as the power to have done otherwise in any situation. But this idea may not hold. Even though you made a choice, you made the only choice you could have made, because you were who you were in that moment. Your choice is determined by the totality of what you are. You make the choice. In that way, you have freedom and agency. I can make a choice, but my choice is determined by the being that I am. And I cannot be other than who I am. Therefore, there is no could have been. Yes, we all choose, but this may not be the freedom to choose something different. Perhaps the conditions would have allowed another choice, but you were who you were, and in being who you were, you had to make the choice you made. The past is as it is. Most people see free will as the capacity to turn left instead of right. This wisdom challenges that idea. It suggests your choices arise from the wholeness of who you are at that very point in time. And who you are is the result of countless layers of memory, habit, and experience. So could you have chosen differently? Likely not. You are not writing your life story from a blank page, but you are the only one who can live it out. And every choice you make reveals a unique expression of reality that has never existed before. If your choices reveal what the universe is becoming through you, then true freedom is not about changing the rules. It is about discovering the truth of who you already are. Perhaps the most unsettling thought is not that this life is a dream. It's that you are the one dreaming and have simply forgotten. This perspective is offered as a mirror. If you mistake the reflection for the sky, the brain for the mind, the form for the source, you will spend your life searching outside for what is already within. But if you become still, even for a moment, you may realize you have never left the source of the universe. You are that source, awakening to itself. And if you have ever felt that something about this world did not quite make sense, that reality seemed incomplete, perhaps you were not wrong.